How to be respected, feared, but never hated. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Niccolò Machiavelli. In the complex world of human relationships, there's an art to commanding respect, creating a healthy sense of fear, and most importantly, avoiding hatred. But how do you navigate this delicate balance? How do you become someone who's respected? Someone others fear in a way that drives respect, but never crosses the line into being hated. The answers lie in understanding the intricate psychology of power dynamics and human behavior. Imagine being the kind of Or who walks into a room and immediately commands attention, not by being loud or aggressive, but by simply exuding an aura of authority and control. That's the power of respect. But at the same time, imagine using a level of fear, not to dominate or oppress, but to ensure that your presence is known and your boundaries are clear. Fear can be a powerful tool when used correctly. And yet there's one thing you must avoid above all else: hatred. Because while fear can be used to inspire respect, hatred will only serve to undermine everything you've worked for. It's a tricky balance, but it's one that can be mastered with a solid understanding of psychology. Let's dive into how you can harness these dynamics in a way that enhances your personal and professional life, without losing your humanity in the process. Section 1. Understanding human perception and behavior. To truly master the balance between being respected, feared, and avoiding hatred, you first need to understand how human perception and behavior work. At the heart of it, humans are wired to respond to power dynamics, often without consciously realizing it. Whether we like to admit it or not, we all have an inherent tendency to categorize people into different social groups based on their traits, actions, and influence. The way someone behaves, speaks, and even carries themselves plays a critical role in how they are perceived by others. Psychologically speaking, respect and fear are two responses that can be elicited by an individual, but they come from different psychological triggers. Respect is earned through actions, integrity, and consistency. It's something people willingly give when they see your value, whether it's your intelligence, leadership, or contribution to the group. Fear, on the other hand, is a more primal response. It comes from a place of uncertainty, power, and control. Fear exists because individuals feel that if they don't follow your lead or respect your boundaries, there could be consequence. The difference between respect and fear lies in intent. Respect is built through positive interactions, while fear can stem from the desire to avoid negative outcomes. So understanding how people perceive power is essential. What makes someone a respected leader versus a feared one? Why do people gravitate toward figures of authority, and how does this psychology play out in our daily lives? You have to recognize that while both fear and respect can influence a person's actions, the goal is to leverage these in a way that enhances your influence and credibility, without triggering resentment or negativity. In short, the psychology behind human behavior allows you to be aware of how others see you and how you can mold that perception to your advantage. Section 2. The power of respect. The psychological benefits. Respect is one of the most powerful tools you can use to influence others. When people respect you, they trust you, value your opinions, and are more likely to follow your lead. In psychology, respect is tied to social standing. It's a powerful currency that opens doors both personally and professionally. But why does respect hold such psychological significance, and how can you harness it? Respect is an essential building block for healthy relationships, whether at home, in the workplace, or within social groups. From a psychological standpoint, humans are drawn to figures of respect because they symbolize stability, trustworthiness, and competence. Think about it. We naturally gravitate toward people who exhibit reliability, honesty, and consistency. These qualities make us feel safe and understood. When you're respected, people are more willing to cooperate with you. which leads to less conflict and greater collaboration. In psychological terms, respect also triggers positive emotions, such as admiration and appreciation. These emotions promote a sense of community and belonging, which strengthens social bonds. The feeling of being respected satisfies psychological needs like esteem and validation, which are crucial for emotional well-being. By earning respect, you not only elevate your standing among peers, but you also create an environment where you can thrive both personally and professionally. So how can you earn and maintain respect? It requires consistency, integrity, and a deep understanding of human needs. Psychologically, people respect individuals who are authentic and transparent, who communicate with clarity, and who act in ways that align with their words. When you maintain a consistent presence and deliver on your promises, respect follows naturally. The key is not to seek respect directly, but to cultivate traits that make it a byproduct of your actions. Section 3. The fear factor. The thin line between respect and fear. Fear is a powerful emotion that can shape behavior in profound ways. While it's often considered a negative force, fear can be harnessed for positive influence if managed correctly. Fear, from a psychological standpoint, is linked to our survival instincts. It's designed to protect us from harm by alerting us to potential threats. In the context of power dynamics, fear can be used to establish authority and maintain control without necessarily fostering hatred. However, there's a fine line between fear that commands respect and fear that breeds hatred. The key distinction is intent. When fear is used to motivate and ensure compliance, it can enhance respect, creating a psychological environment where people are motivated to follow you. This type of fear isn't rooted in cruelty, but in boundaries and expectations. People may fear the consequences of disobeying or disrespecting you, but this fear should stem from the understanding that violating those boundaries leads to negative outcomes. When done right, this fear maintains respect, rather than triggering animosity. On the other hand, fear that is rooted in intimidation or abuse of power crosses into dangerous territory. When fear becomes a tool for manipulation or control, it shifts from motivating to alienating. People start to resent you, and this resentment can quickly evolve into hatred. Psychologically, when people feel powerless or oppressed, they are more likely to act out in ways that harm the person causing those feelings. Fear, when applied excessively or unjustly, leads to emotional toxicity, eroding any respect that might have existed. To harness fear effectively, it's important to use it as a means of creating structure, not domination. Fear can serve as a reminder of your power and authority, but it should always be tied to a sense of fairness and justice. People should fear the consequences of crossing boundaries, not the person themselves. This way, you maintain respect while keeping resentment at bay. Section 4. Avoiding hatred. How hatred develops and how to prevent it. Hatred is one of the most destructive emotions in human psychology, and it can undermine everything you've worked to achieve. While respect and fear can be strategic tools, hatred can strip away all your influence and credibility in an instant. Understanding how hatred develops and how to prevent it is crucial to maintaining a healthy balance in your relationships. Psychologically, hatred arises when people feel deeply wronged, disrespected, or threatened. It often stems from a combination of betrayal, perceived injustice, or long-standing negative interactions. People who feel disrespected or marginalized are more likely to harbor negative emotions that grow into hatred. This is why maintaining your integrity, treating others with fairness, and keeping your promises are so vital to preventing hatred. If people perceive you as unjust, inconsistent, or manipulative, they may develop feelings of resentment and ultimately hatred. The psychological roots of hatred are often tied to a person's emotional vulnerabilities. When someone feels belittled, ignored, or mistreated, their emotional defense mechanisms may kick in, turning their discomfort into anger, and anger into hatred. This is particularly true when there's a perceived imbalance of power. If you use fear or power too aggressively, or if you violate trust in any way, you risk triggering these negative emotions. To avoid hatred, the key is to lead with empathy and understanding, recognizing the emotional needs of those around you and responding in ways that validate their feelings is essential. If you do make a mistake or cause harm, owning up to it and making amends is crucial. People are less likely to harbor hatred if they feel heard and respected, even when things go wrong. Practicing emotional intelligence, being aware of your own emotions and how they impact others, can go a long way in preventing negative emotions from escalating into hatred. The goal is to create an environment where fear and respect coexist without crossing into hostility. By fostering open communication, fairness, and trust, you can minimize the likelihood of hatred and maintain a powerful, positive influence. Section 5. Building an aura of authority without crossing the line. Creating an aura of authority is about much more than just projecting power. It's about establishing a presence that demands respect without making others feel threatened or uncomfortable. The key is striking a balance between being firm and being approachable, confident without arrogance. This isn't about shouting commands or acting like a dictator, but rather creating an environment where your authority is clear and undeniable. Psychologically, people respond to individuals who exude confidence and self-assurance. Confidence is one of the most powerful tools in building authority because it signals to others that you are not only capable but reliable. When you project confidence, others begin to perceive you as a leader, and their behavior naturally gravitates toward respect. However, confidence alone isn't enough. Your demeanor and communication style must also align with your sense of authority. Body language plays a significant role in how people perceive your authority. Standing tall, making eye contact, and speaking with clarity can amplify your presence, signaling strength and decisiveness. But authority doesn't just come from external cues. It's also built on consistency. People respect authority when they know what to expect from you. If you're inconsistent, they'll begin to question your reliability and lose trust. This trust is what keeps the balance between fear and respect. When your actions align with your words, when your decisions reflect integrity and fairness, people will trust your judgment and follow your lead. While projecting authority, it's crucial not to cross into arrogance or harshness, which can easily turn respect into resentment. An authoritative figure should be able to listen, understand, and acknowledge others. When you're approachable, people are more likely to seek your advice and see you as a mentor, rather than a figure to be feared. The balance lies in being firm in your convictions and boundaries, while still remaining empathetic to the needs of others. Section 6. The role of emotional intelligence in maintaining respect and avoiding hatred. Emotional intelligence, EI, is a concept that has become central to understanding human behavior in both personal and professional contexts. It refers to the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as the emotions of others. This skill is not just important for your personal growth, but is vital for maintaining respect and avoiding the development of hatred. From a psychological standpoint, emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in how we handle interpersonal relationships. Individuals with high emotional intelligence can navigate complex social dynamics with ease because they understand the emotional undercurrents in any given situation. They are aware of how their actions affect others, and they can manage their emotions in a way that promotes positive outcomes. For instance, when faced with conflict, someone with high emotional intelligence can remain calm, use empathy, and avoid escalating the situation into anger or hostility. In maintaining respect, Emotional intelligence helps you read the room, understanding when to assert yourself and when to be more passive. It helps you communicate your thoughts effectively without coming across as overbearing or dismissive. It also plays a major role in fostering empathy, a critical component in avoiding hatred. When people feel understood and respected, they are less likely to harbor negative feelings toward you. On the flip side, emotional intelligence helps you avoid the kind of behavior that can breed resentment. It allows you to handle situations delicately and resolve conflicts before they escalate. Furthermore, emotional intelligence helps in avoiding the triggers that lead to hatred. People who fail to acknowledge the feelings of others, or who act out of arrogance or indifference, create an environment where resentment can grow. By practicing empathy, recognizing emotional cues, and engaging in reflective communication, emotionally intelligent individuals can maintain an aura of respect while preventing negativity from taking root. Section 7. Case Studies: Mastering the Balance in History and Contemporary Figures. To better understand the dynamics of respect, fear, and avoiding hatred, let's look at a few case studies from history and contemporary times. These figures have navigated the complexities of power dynamics in ways that maintained respect, instilled a level of fear to an extent, and avoided creating hatred. One of the most notable examples is Nelson Mandela. Despite being incarcerated for 27 years, Mandela emerged as a leader who commanded both respect and admiration. His ability to strike a balance between standing firm on his beliefs and showing empathy for his oppressors made him one of the most respected figures in modern history. Mandela understood that true leadership was not about power over others, but about inspiring a collective sense of respect and unity. His emotional intelligence was a cornerstone of his leadership, allowing him to reconcile a nation that had been torn apart by division and hatred. He demonstrated that fear can be wielded constructively, without veering into oppression, by showing mercy and understanding. Winston Churchill is another example. Known for his strong, unyielding stance during World War II, Churchill used fear effectively to rally the British people. His speeches instilled a sense of urgency and determination, but they did not descend into hatred. People feared the consequences of failure, but they respected Churchill for his resolve and commitment to their safety. His authority was rooted in his unshakable confidence, and even his critics could not deny the strength he brought to his leadership. In the modern world, Steve Jobs also exemplified the fine line between respect and fear. Jobs' leadership style at Apple was intense and often demanding. People feared his wrath when expectations weren't met, but they also respected his vision and unwavering commitment to innovation. Jobs had a rare ability to push people beyond their limits, without them ever feeling diminished or despised. His ability to inspire people to give their best, while maintaining respect for their talents and contributions, is a powerful example of how to wield both fear and respect without tipping into hatred. Each of these leaders understood the delicate balance of power, how fear could be used to motivate, how respect could be earned, and how hatred could be avoided by exercising empathy and understanding. Their psychological strategies can provide valuable lessons on how to navigate your own power dynamics in a way that fosters long-term influence and success. Section 8. How to apply these principles in everyday life. But while historical and contemporary examples provide valuable lessons, you may wonder how these principles apply to your everyday life. After all, not all of us are global leaders or CEOs. The good news is that the psychological principles of respect, fear, and avoiding hatred can be applied in your personal relationships, at work, and in social circles. In everyday life, the goal is to build and maintain respect in all your interactions. Whether it's with family, friends, colleagues, or strangers, the way you communicate and carry yourself will have a direct impact on how others perceive you. To earn respect, start by being consistent in your actions. When people see that you are reliable and trustworthy, they are more likely to respect you. Additionally, practicing active listening and showing empathy creates a space where people feel valued, which fosters mutual respect. In the workplace, respect is crucial for creating a productive and harmonious environment. As a leader or team member, maintaining clear communication and setting boundaries will earn you respect without creating unnecessary fear or tension. Be decisive when needed, but always consider the emotions of others. Emotional intelligence plays a key role here as well. Recognize when people are struggling or feeling overwhelmed and offer support rather than criticism. In your social circles, applying these principles means balancing authority with approachability. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room, but when you speak, make sure your words are thoughtful and carry weight. This will help you gain respect without alienating others. At the same time, avoid behaviors that could lead to hatred, such as manipulation or disrespect. When you make a mistake, own it and apologize sincerely. By applying these principles in your daily life, you'll be able to maintain the perfect balance of respect and fear, while ensuring that hatred is never a part of the equation. It's about creating a dynamic where you inspire others to follow your lead, not out of fear, but out of genuine admiration and trust. Conclusion: mastering the balance of respect, fear, and avoiding hatred. In the intricate dance of human interactions, mastering the balance between respect, fear, and avoiding hatred is essential for maintaining positive influence and strong relationships. Respect is earned through consistency, integrity, and a genuine understanding of others' needs. Fear, when wielded wisely, can serve as a powerful motivator, reinforcing boundaries and ensuring compliance. But it must always be balanced with fairness and empathy to prevent it from devolving into oppression. Hatred, on the other hand, is a force that can undo all of your efforts, undermining both your authority and your relationships. It's the result of unchecked power, inconsiderate actions, and emotional mismanagement. By understanding the psychological mechanisms behind these emotions, you can navigate social and professional dynamics more effectively, maintaining the fine line between being respected and feared, while preventing any negative feelings from taking root. Leaders, whether in the workplace, among friends, or within families, understand that true power doesn't come from dominating others, but from inspiring them to respect you, while managing fear in a way that promotes cooperation and growth. Ultimately, this balance is achievable through emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and a conscious effort to lead with empathy and authenticity. The goal isn't to control or manipulate, but to create an environment where your influence fosters trust, motivates people to follow you willingly, and encourages the best in those around you. As you apply these principles, you'll find that the respect you earn will be enduring, the fear you inspire will remain healthy, and the potential for hatred will be virtually eliminated. In this way, you can build a life and a legacy that's defined not by power over others, but by the power to inspire, lead, and uplift.